Saving for a down payment can feel impossible, but it doesn't have to. In this video, I'll share ways to start saving without cutting everything you enjoy. You'll also get journal prompts and a little homework so that you can go from feeling overwhelmed to actually making progress starting today. I'm Steph Douglas, broker and CEO of Open House Austin. I bought my first home at 24 and I learned a lot of lessons the hard way. Now I own multiple properties and I want to share the strategies that can help your path to homeownership go smoother. At Open House Austin, we believe in homeownership for all. We also believe in the value that homeownership brings to you, our communities, and your financial future. That's why we created Homebuyer University, to give you a clear step-by-step path to buying your first home. So let's talk about one of the scariest parts about buying a home, saving for the down payment. Before we talk about numbers for a down payment, we need to figure out how much you can actually afford. So let's talk about what's important to you in your first home. Okay, let's get started. Grab something to write with or open up the Notes app on your phone because you might want to take some notes as we go through this section. Before we can talk real numbers on down payment, we need to figure out what you can actually afford. So you want to start thinking about what is important to you in your first home. How big does it need to be? What location or area matters most to you? Do you care about walkability, a yard, or certain amenities in the community? What about local community or schools? About 30% on your living expenses. Then take a look at your income. A good rule of thumb is to spend 30% of your gross monthly income on living expenses. That includes your mortgage, your taxes, and your insurance. Here's a couple of examples. If you and your partner each make $60,000 a year, that's $120,000 combined. 30% of your gross monthly income is about $3,000 a month for housing. Depending on interest rate and taxes, that could put you in the range of a $350,000 to $400,000 home. If you make $150,000 a year on your own, 30% of your gross monthly income is about $3,750 a month for housing. That could put you in the range of a $450,000 to $500,000 home. These numbers will vary based on interest rate, insurance, and taxes, so talking to a lender is the very best way to get a good picture. Here's our first journal prompt, so I want you to write these answers down. First, when it comes to your lifestyle and daily needs, what does a typical day in your life look like? How can your house support that? Do I need space for a home office, pets, kids, or any specific hobbies? As far as the location and community goes, which neighborhoods in your area feel most aligned with your lifestyle? How important is proximity to your work, to your friends, to your family, public transport, or entertainment? Do schools, parks, or community resources factor into your decision? Let's tackle home features. Do you want a yard? Do you want walkability? Do you want a new construction or a fixer-upper home? In this section, you really want to figure out your non-negotiables versus your just nice-to-haves. Then you need to find some financial alignment. Based on the 30% rule, what is a realistic monthly housing budget for you? How does this compare with what you pay in rent right now? And how would this affect other financial goals in your life, like travel or savings or retirement? All of this will get you to the final question, which is, based on your lifestyle, location preferences, and the 30% rule, what is your target home price? All of the answers to these questions will get you to the final most important question, is how much do you actually want to spend on a house? Now that you figured it out, write that number down, and this is your baseline for figuring out your down payment. You do not need 20% down to buy a home. That is a myth. Depending on your loan program, your down payment could be as little as 0 to 5%. Check out our previous video to figure out what down payment might be best for you. Here are a few examples. A VA loan is 0% down, an FHA is 3.5% down, and a conventional loan can be anywhere from 0 to 5% down minimum. Here's your homework. Okay, do this now. Multiply your target home price by your chosen down payment percentage. This will get you your down payment goal. Write that number down, and this is your savings target. That big savings target number gets a lot less scary when you break it down. Let's consider a 3-year savings timeline. First, take that big number and divide it by 3 for your yearly target, and then divide it by 12 for your monthly target, and then that number by 4 to get how much you need to save per week. That number should be a lot easier to swallow. If your goal is to save $15,000 over the next 3 years, really that equals about $100 a week, which feels a lot more doable than $15,000. You might even find that you can save your down payment sooner than you thought. Or it's possible that the opposite is true and you want more time before you decide on the timeline. What timeline feels realistic for you? And then what would that look like for your annual, monthly, and weekly savings goals? Second, what are you willing to give up or cut back on to achieve your goal? Now here comes the tough part, and the part that most people skip. You need to take a look at where your money is actually going. Track your spending for a month, notice patterns, and then look at where you're willing to make small tweaks. Even small changes, like one less restaurant meal per week, could add up to thousands over the year. Download your most recent credit card and bank statements. I recommend doing this in a spreadsheet so that you can make edits and adjustments. Highlight non-essential expenses. This is where you can make the biggest dent. Then choose 2 to 3 things that you could scale back on for now. This is where you get honest with yourself. No judgment, just awareness. Ask yourself, what are my biggest spending habits, and where am I willing to make adjustments to save for my home? You don't have to give up everything. You don't want to be miserable, but making cuts here and there can make a huge difference. Here's the biggest game changer. Once you start saving, protect that money from temptation. Open a separate account and name it something motivating, like My House Fund. And then automate your transfers so that saving happens without you having to think about it. Even $25 a week adds up over time. Instead of thinking of this as optional savings, consider the money you're putting towards your down payment as another bill that has to be paid. Every month you have an amount of money that has to be paid to that savings account. Make it non-negotiable. And now for the bonus tip that's gonna help you supercharge your savings and your support. Here's the good news. You don't have to do this alone. Not when it comes to saving and not when it comes to buying. There are strategies, programs, and people that can help you hit that goal faster without carrying all that weight on your own. Here are some ways to boost your progress. Gift funds from families are actually more common than you think. Employer housing benefits. Some companies offer relocation or down payment help. Local or state assistance programs like Right at Home. A lot of our clients close with local or state assistance programs. We've seen clients close with 0% down and even get a check at closing. Consider using a high yield savings account. Instead of having that money sit in your checking, put it somewhere where it is also earning money. You can also buy with a partner or a friend. You can split the down payment and monthly costs. So this is what I want you to think through and potentially write down. Who or what could help you along this journey, whether it be financially, emotionally, or even as a co-buyer? And one last pro tip before you go, the best way to save more money is to make more money. So consider starting a side hustle or asking your boss for a raise. And to wrap up saving for a down payment, the best way is to start small, stay consistent, and don't be afraid to ask for help. If this video helped you, please like and subscribe. It helps us keep making content that makes home buying less scary.